right, so Lowely versus Red. The map selection choice is Lowely's, and he selected Antiga Shipyard.
One of the most standard maps. I'm actually really surprised that we have Antiga Shipyard. But, you know, it is what it is.
Why are you surprised? You chose the map pool.
Well, I'm surprised that Lowely chose that over other maps. I feel like...
Oh, okay.
I feel like this is probably one of the easier maps to defend with 15 hatch.
Yeah, and you know what? We're not, you know, Lowely showed a lot of...
Oh, it's mind games. I'm sorry to cut you off right there.
Oh, is it?
Oh. He just overload trick. No, he didn't overload trick. It is
Extractor
going to be...
trick, you mean?
Thank you.
The overlord trick.
The overlord trick.
He's doing the overlord trick. He's increasing his supply.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he's not doing
I was
the
putting it down a
trick.
spawning pool.
No, he just did an extractor trick, and you actually can do the math with that. Is the extractor trick ever worth it?
I heard it wasn't, but
you heard it was Andre. I thought you did the math.
I didn't do the math for that.
That's okay. That's totally cool.
You don't like it when I do math on stream.
It's just because I can't keep up with you. You do it too fast. Now that's the biggest thing with the SATs, man. It's not that I couldn't do the problems; it's I didn't have time.
Oh man, dude, I would always like finish that 10 minutes early, and I wouldn't check any of my answers.
Oh, you're one of those guys.
And
you took a nap between sections,
I'm not even kidding.
You?
That's
oh my goodness.
literally what happened.
I hate people like that.
And
but look at this. Lowely's the one going for hatchery first.
I got punished for it though. I should have checked my answers.
You're still talking about that.
You
did fine, man. You became a financial consultant and you became a rich baller.
I got 3 780s.
Wow.
LOL. LOL.
Lol.
But think, if I checked, I would have gotten that 800.
Rhett is going for regular gas pool, and Lowely, he's getting his hatchery first now. It's role reversal from game number 1.
I think Rhett suspects something is happening.
He's he thought maybe...
Well, you know, you're bringing me to Antiga Shipyard. You're probably thinking I want a 15 hatch because it's a nice map to 15 hatch. You're probably thinking 6 pool, so I'm going to play it super standard. Go to the spawning pool, and I should be okay. Now, Rhett, it's his job to do something, make something of this, because he has to implement his metabolic boost to good use. If he doesn't, then obviously Lowely will take it away with his larva lead, which could transfer into drones, additional zerglings, whatever it could be. So we'll see how he actually utilizes his advantage, which will be the metabolic boost timing.
Yeah, this is really clever, and a lot of people say, you know, there's the rock, paper, scissors between 10 pool or anything, you know, before that, 14 pool, and then hatchery first. And just by that definition, Lowely does have that macro advantage, but he has to hold on to it. Rhett, his speed's about halfway done, and he's expanding. But Lowely also knows, he says, okay, well, Zerglings are out into the middle of the field, so he's going to get his own batch of Zerglings. And for now, it's all about when Rhett will place any kind of true aggression, but he's actually droning behind this.
Yeah,
interesting.
That's pretty standard because your metabolic boost with the initial Zergling should bait enough units. So what he's trying to do is force Lowely to make a ton of Zerglings. Or that's what he's hoping for. You can see the initial 4 Zerglings are doing a lot. They are trying to trap these 2 Zerglings over here, but metabolic boost should kick in. Now if he can bait, I would say about 4 more Zerglings, he will be in a great position. Normally when you go for this hatchery first, you're ahead by 2 to 3 larvae. It's about 2.5 larvae, I do believe. So they have extra stuff to work with.
Ooh.
And now metabolic boost will kick in. And do we have additional Zerglings coming in? Yes, we do. Oh, no, that's Rhett. That's Rhett.
No, he's making a few more Zerglings, but because, again, he's showing only 4 Zerglings the entire time, Lowely had to get suspicious. So Rhett actually managed to clean up one of the Overlords, which is a nice thing. It's another way to force larva in some sense. But Rhett also finished up his hatchery pretty much uninhibited, and he also delayed his Baleen Nest also while getting a lot more minerals. He didn't actually mine that much gas after he got speed, and so he caught up in the mineral count. You can see Lowely made defensive Banelings, and that's actually not going to pay off for him whatsoever.
Well, you can see all the way over. I think that one defensive Baneling is just to make sure that no Zergling run-bys come in. Or at least to help out a little bit so the Queen is able to manage them. But you can see a lot of Banelings being spawned in the middle of the map. They are playing a little bit of tag with those Zerglings, but Red is going to find these.
Yeah.
And he's going to be pretty happy. 4 Banelings already morphed over defensively at Red's position, and he also has 2 Queens to work with. That's a pretty big advantage.
Yeah, and Red does have the 2 Banelings explode on 3 of them. Oh, but his Queens do get surrounded. Red's trying to see if he can save them. No, the Banelings don't make it in time. The second Queen falls. Meanwhile, Red does have his Zerglings engage on the rest, but This is looking very, very similar to the game where Rhett lost both of his queens. Has to be really cautious. He's going to fall behind in Larva Cycle soon.
Well, we do see Lowely only has 1 queen, so that helps out a little bit, but still, Rhett is zergling-ing up. Zergling-ing up.
He's zergling up. Yeah, and he's engaging here right by the banelings, and he's basically counting on the fact that these banelings won't finish, and Rhett picking a perfect time move out, but the banelings about to finish, and they do explode on a few of them. Lowly's still moving forward towards the natural of Rhett as his reinforcements are cleaning up some of the zerglings. This is very, very intensive micro from both players, and Lowly's banelings are getting pretty low on health. The Spinecrawler may prove to be very key if it can target down the right units, Andre.
Yes, that's what it needs to do. Focus on killing those banelings. Nice job. But look at this, no queen in the main, so this can prove to be very good for Lowely. You can see the drones being pulled offline. This is valuable mining time that he's losing here. Rhett will be able to clear this up. I'm telling you, this Spinecrawler is a hero Spinecrawler, but losing 2 queens is pretty dramatic.
Yeah.
Rhett needs to stabilize. It's hard to do that without queens blocking your ramp or even blocking the front, preventing banelings from doing massive damage. So we'll see.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Lowely has a big advantage now because he's actually up in the drone count, and Rhett hasn't really been able to do anything to defend this that well thus far. One baneling does get picked off by a Spinecrawler. A second one does. Great stalling, and Rhett places the perfect trap, and this time Lowely's aggression has been abated significantly, and the follow-up should not be that strong.
Oh, great job. And you can see banelings are going to explode on a good amount of zerglings. Let's check the income tab, 15 to 19. Things have stabilized a little bit. 1 queen is out. It looks like Rhett is now droning. No, he's making additional circles.
Lowely's the one that's droning. And he's droning to over 30. Rhett sees that there's less and less units coming, so he knows his opponent is not going to be aggressive anymore. But Lowely is up almost twice the amount of workers Rhett is, and he's been doing a great job this game.
Exactly. And he has units planned out very nicely. 2 more banelings are being merged over here, and he will be able to defend this, I think, pretty easily. Oh, nice baneling explosion right there.
Yeah, and Rhett, he's scouting his opponent, sees, wow, his drone saturation as natural is not that bad. Has to avoid the banelings, and he also sees a Spinecrawler that started at the bottom of the ramp. Rhett's starting to drone up himself, getting out his 2nd queen. And again, that's one thing that Lowely, you know, if he had that 2nd queen, he'd be really far ahead. But now that Rhett's getting a 2nd queen now, he can actually catch up if he plays it right.
Rhett has 2 zerglings. I'm watching them very closely in the bottom right-hand corner of his opponent's base. So I'm wondering what he does with that. He can easily merge them into 2 banelings and go for that supply line. So we'll keep an eye on that.
The zerglings are playing with fire. Some of them are flirting with it. And Rhett, the banelings are getting into the mineral line. The one baneling trying to see if they can trade for it. And Rhett wants to anxiously hit those drones, but the banelings do land a great shot on the first pack of zerglings. And Lowely actually...
Look at that. The Harvester count is back in the even.
Yeah.
Both these players, let's look at the units tab, because normally when this happens, someone has a Zergling advantage or ground advantage, but no, that doesn't exist. Roach Warren and Evolution Chamber will be placed. It looks like both players... No. Oh my gosh, Lowely doesn't have a 2nd queen.
Yeah, no, and that's why Rhett's been able to catch up in Larva Cycles, and Rhett actually is just right behind his opponent. We see the Roach Warren and Evo Chamber trying to set up a little bit of a wall, but Lowely's harass shouldn't really do anything. Rhett feeling very comfortable right now. You can see he's taking his other gases. Now, Lowely does have Lair about 75% done, so tech-wise he's still ahead, but Rhett is ever so slightly closing the gap. Can Lowely hold on to his lead here?
That'll be a big question. Now, Spire Tech looks to be incoming. I can't see him going other... well, he could potentially do Infestors, but normally when you see Infestors, you also see Carapace and melee upgrades. Yeah. And the main reason for that,
look at that Spire,
is you need to overdevelop your Zerglings so they don't get 2-shotted by roaches, and also make sure that they're able to do enough damage, because that extra +1 Carapace that the roaches have is pretty critical. And look at that, Rhett gets a beautiful scout in. And he's able to see that Spire. Yeah,
he sees it, so he should be able to prepare for it. His lair just started, though, so he has to keep that into consideration. Meanwhile, his 3rd is under heavy siege, and he's now finally starting to send some Zerglings to try to bait him off of it. But you're right, you know, and I saw Violet actually playing ZVZ just on some of his latter games. He's been playing in the studio, practicing hard for his upcoming show match, and he's been going mutas on Antiga to very strong results. So Mutas are not a bad choice for this map whatsoever, and we'll see if Lowely's going to be able to do it. But for now, he's just trying to keep pressure on that third, making sure Rhett is going to be accountable for it.
You know, I've talked about this multiple times. I have mixed feelings about Mutas. I think they're really good when you're ahead, not so much when you're even or behind. So we'll see. Oh my god, that was the most delicious 2 Banelings.
Oh, but 2 more Banes from Lowely coming in too. Can he get a good shot on Rhett? And looks like the answer is kind of.
Kind of.
I was going to say no, and the answer is kind of. Lowely pushing with more and more Zerglings. He's trying to just keep Rhett in his base. And the first few Mutas are out into the field. Rhett's infestation pit just starting. And there's just constant Zergling micro. And it's really impressive too, because both players have been staying on top of their injects and being able to do multitask on the 2 fronts.
What's probably more important is that 3 queens are inbound for the field. Rhett is the one getting a lot of queens here. That's very important. You can see the unit tab includes already 3 queens for Rhett. Up to 6 queens, and you can pretty much stabilize against Mutas in that first round. But when the count gets a little bit too high, that's when you arise with a lot of problems. Oh!
Very, very good positioning here by Lowely. He used a Baneling to zone off the Zerglings from being able to aid it, and the Queen gets surrounded. The Mutas are now cleaning up everything as well. Rhett finishes off the remainder of Lowely's Zerglings, but the third has fallen, and Rhett,
done.
Yeah, he
Lowely, very well done.
Fall behind
you can see the Spore Crawler is actually doing a ton of damage against the Mutas.
Wow.
Needs to be careful. He actually lost a single Muta. It's unfortunate for him, but look at that. Pathogen Glands is so far away. Rhett is making a ton of Banelings. And also, something important to note is Lowely actually has established his 3rd base. That's pretty critical. Having that 3rd base there gives him access to more gas, and it makes his Mutas actually pretty powerful. So you can't rely just off of Infestation Pit. You have to go for Hydras.
Lowely is preparing a tech switch to Infestors and Roaches, and that's a very smart thing. I like that he's stopping at 10 Mutas and not overdoing it.
Yes.
Too many times we've seen Zergs just get enamored by the idea, like, wow, I have a lot of map control. Let me seize more map control or something, and then they make too many Mutas, get caught, and end up losing their advantage. And Lowely already preparing for the follow-up, and it's very, very nice here. And Lowely's just playing really well this game.
I have to reiterate everything you just said. I think Lowely is on top of things. Now, Rhett is looking to do some sort of 2-base timing. You can see the +2 attack is on the way, Cleo Reconstitution. So we're going to see a lot of Roaches, and then probably a huge insert of Hydras. No, still no Hydra Den, so I'm a little bit confused about that.
Well, for now, he has to worry about these Zerglings constantly poking in. Rhett, unable to defend the 3rd, is now really falling behind in terms of larva cycles. He will have that pretty significant upgrade advantage if he wants to capitalize, because the Evo Chamber just finished, the first one from Lowely.
Still no upgrade into them, and you can see the Zerglings are going to run directly into this 3rd. Actually, picking off this Queen, that's nice.
It's a lot of energy.
It is a lot of energy, but if he can pick off all these drones, maybe he's in a good position, but still, I find it very difficult for Rhett to make up the difference. Lowely is significantly ahead at this point. We'll find out in a little bit as the Infestor count starts to emerge, but Lowely for himself has his own Infestors, and I actually love that. That's a really interesting choice. A lot of people would say, why are you going Infestors here? But remember that Infestors don't care about upgrades. They do the same amount of damage, and, you know, I don't care how much armor you have. You're not going to get in range of me, etc.
Unless it's like one of those missions where you like find a box somewhere, Infestor, and like Infestor damage goes up so much, like in Command and Conquer, right? I found that in Command and Conquer. I was like, this is the most broken thing in the world. But Mutas are coming in, trying to see if they can force a cancel on the 3rd. Rhett, is he going to be able to protect
this might be dangerous if he can get Infestors in range and then cancel that. It looks like, wow.
He lets it live.
Yeah.
For now.
How nice.
I'll let it live for now.
I will let it live for now. How is it?
Which accent is that?
I have no clue, dude. A ton of queens out here on the field.
That's the Belarusian accent.
Belarusian, exactly.
That's where Lowely's from. He's Belarusian. Now,
it's interesting. I mean, Rhett, he's still in a tough position. Where does he go from here? Because he wants to develop his ground army.
Yeah. Look at the drone count, man. It's insane. Look at it.
69 to 41. It's a pretty sizable advantage.
Yeah, and he's about to get more. The Mutas flying into the main.
Growth, though.
Oh,
nice.
Very good.
And he has another one. I don't think he can get it. No, he might be able to get his units into place. He needs to apply that fun growth. Oh.
He's going to chase. He gets a couple of them. But what
5, that's
the dangerous part is the follow-up here from Lowely, because he's been preparing massive amounts of roaches. He's got 27, and it doesn't matter sometimes about upgrade advantage if you don't have that many units to really capitalize on it.
Correct. Now, the big thing I think Red has going for him is his +2 attack. He might be able to do a ton of damage against Lowely's units, but let's look at the units have 36 to 25. It's still looking tough. Now, those Banelings could be a game changer. We'll definitely find out in a little bit. As both
or
these
maybe
players,
right now.
Oh my god.
Oh, Red bringing a lot of queens, though, to potentially transfuse his roaches. But look at the concave and surround by Lowely. He traps off and sexes those units. The follow-up fungals from Red's infestors also lock down a lot of Lowly's, but Lowely is able to really clean up a lot of these really expensive units from Red. Red has these infested queens, nowhere to go. GG. Lowely.
He's going to take it, upsetting a lot of Red fans. And overall, a really great display of a ZVZ.
Yeah, it's supposed to be his, his worst matchup statistically, and probably he'd be one to tell you. But he's now 3-0 in his division, and Rhett falls to 2-1.
I have to say, what was so impressive from Lowely's play was his ability to just control everything. You saw Zerglings and Banelings throughout everything, and still he was able to macro flawlessly. That's one of the true key moments, I think, in that match that really set himself apart from a lot of other Zerg players. And that was enough to actually take out a monster that is Rhett.
Yep. Denying that third just proved too much, as Lowely was able to capitalize, take an advantage, and run all the way home. That game was brought to you by GameMinder, the smartphone application that lets you know about upcoming NASL broadcasts, as well as your upcoming demos. Guys, we actually have an interview prepared with the winner of that series, but that'll be after a commercial, so get yourselves ready. After we come back, Lowely will be here on the Skype call for an interview.